River Road, you got me running way back home. River Road, you got me running all night long. You got me singing some canal boat song. River Road, you got me running all night long.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Niner Nuts. I'm Dan, along with James. James, say hello.
What's up, everybody?
You're back for another batch of episodes. Appreciate the patience while we were gone. These are our first episodes of July. We just talked about in our last episode how big this rematch with the Eagles is. But now let's look at the game that we could have been in if we beat the Eagles, the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is going to be in Vegas this year, and we just want to spend this next episode, so to say, thinking about the things that have to happen for us to reach the Super Bowl. I already have a couple things offhand that I think definitely need to happen. Then I'll just throw out at you. And obviously, people on YouTube comment, listeners, send us an email what you think needs to happen for us to reach the Super Bowl. Just three things off the top of my head. I think we need to get Debo back to that 1,500 total yard-ish range. I think we got to get Debo back into shape, get him more involved. And he's been saying that the contract was a distraction. Like, no, duh, it was. Like, he's basically thrown the contract negotiations under the bus of why he underperformed last year. I'm going to take his word for it personally, but I think with that not distracting him the entire offseason up until the day training camp started, I think that genuinely is going to be in Debo's favor, that he can actually focus on football the whole offseason. I do think we're going to need somebody else besides Nick Bosa to have more than 5 sacks. That is something that is going to need to happen. It can't be all on Bosa. Arik Armstead is not a sack machine. He is just a line disruptor. He's not going to get double-digit sacks again like he did with DeForest Buckner. He doesn't have Buckner next to him. He's got Hargrave next to him now. So I'm not going to bet that he'll hit 10 sacks. I'm not going to bet that Hargrave hits 10 sacks either. But amongst the presence of the chaos between Bosa, Armstead, and Hargraves, whoever that is on the other side, or if it ends up being Hargrave, I'll be happy either way. Somebody besides Nick Bosa has to have double-digit sacks. That's going to be crucial for us. And then the last thing that I think is going to need to happen is really we got to have some more consistency in the secondary. I think those are three of the biggest things. There we go. Three of the biggest things that we're going to need. We're going to need a little bit more consistency in the passing game. It's not that our secondary was bad. Hoof did a great job for us in his safety position, and Charvarius Ward was locked down. But everybody let things slip here and there. Charvarius Ward shouldn't have played that game against Kansas City. He got blown out. Deommodore Lenoir, he's still very, very young. I still believe in him. I don't think we should cut him. But with the void left from Jimmy Ward, it's either going to be Isaiah Oliver or Brown, who we just drafted. It's going to be one of them in the secondary. Our secondary cannot be worse. It's got to be the same and even a little tighter, because our secondary could get beat. It was very common for us to let at least one receiver get to 90 or even over 100 yards. We got to be able to mitigate the big passing plays. Our middle linebackers are great and our D-line is great. We just lost a little bit of depth on the D-line, but that's why I'm singling out the secondary. The secondary's got to be a little bit more consistent, but I think if they get better, if Debo gets back into shape, and if we get somebody else besides Nick Bosa with double-digit sacks, I think those three key factors are going to be critical for us to get over the hump to get to the Super Bowl. I'm deliberately not saying quarterback because if Purdy is in, the best quarterback's going to be out there. I trust Kyle's judgment. I can hear people saying Beathard and Mullins and Hoyer. I trust that this quarterback situation is going to end up being a good thing for us, having all these options. We still don't know if Trey is. We could still see the upside of Trey. If Sam's just not going to play in the NFL if he fails with us and he does get out there. But the way that rehab is going, all Purdy's got to do, if he is ready for week 1, is not be worse than he was. As long as he's not worse, he doesn't have to be better, then we'll be fine in the quarterback position. So putting all that to the side, because we're going to keep talking ad nauseum about the quarterback situation. Somebody else besides Nick Bosa with sacks. Debo's got to get back into form. and then the secondary's got to be more consistent. James, what do you think we need to do to get to the Super Bowl this year?
Well, you could, theoretically, you guys could be better at pass defense. You're going to need more. You're going to need somebody other than Nick Bosa to step up and do sacks. You need more better play from the secondary. But I think we do need to talk about Purdy, because we've talked about how this is a quarterback-driven league, and how if you don't have a quarterback, you don't really have a chance to win the Super Bowl. And so, I think Purdy's going to really need to step up and play better than he did last year if you really want to win the Super Bowl. I think, because last year we had two great quarterbacks go against each other, and there was no defense to be seen. There really wasn't. And, it could be, there was numerous reasons why we didn't see defense, but mainly because we saw two great offenses, and that's what offenses do. And so with the 49ers, I mean, I think they ranked first in points per game last year, which they did.
We were first? I thought we were like fourth or fifth.
No, you were first in points per game, average points per game giving up on defense.
I'm sorry. There you go. Yeah.
On defense, and you were number one against the rush, but how impressive is number one against the rush when most teams are passing nowadays? And you got to figure out a way to stop the pass. So that's
why I called out our secondary, even though Charvarius Ward and Hoof are great.
I mean, you guys can stop the run, but you're going to need to stop the pass. Secondary, defensive line, linebackers, I mean, it falls on the defense to be better against the pass. You have a new defensive coordinator, so hopefully they're going to be able to stop the pass a lot better than they did last year, because they were, I believe,
I think we were 22nd against the pass.
Yeah, so you're in the bottom half of the league against the pass, which is really not that good. And
Steve Wilkes, luckily, is a historically defensive back coach. So, in theory, that could be great for everybody.
Yeah, but I also think Purdy needs to play better. I think Purdy needs to make the next step. I mean, staying the same, I still don't think is going to cut it. I mean, you
don't think the way that he played last year, like the way I purposefully phrased it, don't play worse. You don't think the way that he played last year, not that he doesn't have a higher ceiling that he can still reach. You don't think the way that he played last year, if he plays exactly the same that we saw for 9 games last year, is going to be enough?
I will say this. I will say that if the 49ers played the Eagles in the divisional round and Purdy played like he did in the divisional round, the Eagles would have beaten them. Because Purdy had 2 interceptions, plus he had one that was dropped in the red zone in the game as well. So that's 3 turnovers that could have changed the complete course of the game. So, I think Purdy needs to play better. He was riding the curtails of the defense. And I think he does need to play better. I think he needs to make a step. He needs to step up, and he's going to need to be better at leading the team and not making mistakes, especially in those big games. And that's sort of where I lie. And I honestly think, if he had finished that games, he probably would have had an interception.
That's fair to say. It would have been. He probably would have threw at least one.
And he probably. I mean, he might have had. With the way the defense was playing for the Eagles and how much of a game wrecker, Hassan Reddick is. He fumbled the ball once. He probably would have thrown an interception with the way he did. Against the tough defense in Dallas. So I think Brock Purdy, yes, needs to play better, especially in bigger games. It's just he needs to play better. He can't just rely on the defense. They were winning really, I think, despite him, and they really need to win because of him. That's where it needs to get. They need to be winning games because Brock Purdy is the quarterback of the 49ers. They can't just rely on the defense, because I'm going to be real with you. People say defense wins championships. No, it'll give you a chance. You need to score points to win. The historic defenses that have won Super Bowls, yes, they won by defense. But literally, you're talking about historic defenses. And the 49ers were number one against the run. And they were 22nd against the pass. That's not enough. That's not a historic defense. Like at first, in the beginning of the season, they were trending that way. But as the season rolled on, they dropped to 22nd against the pass. And that's really not gonna cut it. The defense is not good enough to take you there and win a Super Bowl. You need better quarterback play. You look at the 85 Bears, they were a historic defense. That's how they won, despite Jim McMahon being their quarterback. And Jim McMahon really wasn't a bad quarterback. But you look at Tampa Bay, when they won because of defense. But you look at the quarterback play that year, it was Brad Johnson was their quarterback. Baltimore, Trent Dilfer and Joe Flacco with their defenses. You look at Seattle when they won theirs with defense. Russell Wilson was in his second year, but that was a historic defense. They were really, really good. The 49ers have a really, really good defense. If they're going to win because of their defense, they need to get better against the pass, like you said, Dan. But really, I don't see that realistically happening. If anything's going to happen that's going to take the 49ers to the Super Bowl, it's most likely going to be Purdy playing better as a quarterback as compared to the 49ers just going from 22nd to one of the top 5 teams in passing, because I don't think that's likely. I don't think the 49ers are just going to magically go from 22nd to top 5 in passing. Like, I think it's going to take better quarterback play from Purdy in order for the 49ers to reach and win the Super Bowl.
That is a fair and compelling argument. I was listening, and I just wanted to clarify because I didn't want to throw the secondary under the bus inadvertently. We were 20th, so not that far off. But no, what you're saying absolutely is valid. Like, when you look at a team like Aaron Rodgers, he carried the Packers. Dak Prescott presumably carries the Cowboys. Like, and no, Brock Purdy didn't exactly carry the team, but I don't think he'll necessarily have to, because of all of the infrastructure that's been put around him. He's got to do his job for sure. And yes, of course, if he can ascend to that kind of level where he is carrying the team, that's better for us. The more the merrier. The more responsibility that he can prove that he can handle. But if he doesn't prove that he's quite ready for that, and he's still stuck in that Alex Smith, Andy Dalton game manager kind of spot, I still think we're going to be okay if all those 3 things that I talked about do step up around him, just because between what John Lynch did and what Kyle Shanahan have done, there's too many pieces around him. As long as he doesn't play worse, because we've won so many games with him, and now he's got a little bit more experience under him, so I can't imagine he plays worse unless the elbow is irritated. Speaking in absolutes is stupid, but from what my gut is telling me, I think because he's got Christian and Kyle behind him, he's got Debo and Brandon and George on the outsides, he's got Trent covering his side, at least on offense. I think as long as he doesn't shoot himself in the foot, he doesn't have to. If he can ascend to that level that you're saying all these Super Bowl champion teams have, then of course, like, I'm not going to say, oh, why is Purdy playing so good? Of course not.
Yeah.
But I agree that when you look at those championship teams, you're not wrong. They had a face in the quarterback. But all my counter argument is that from what I'm seeing, I don't think it's exactly necessary, and we can be a team that succeeds with everybody as a true team, so to say. I'm not to say those other teams were didn't have critical components either. I think it would be, if we get to the Super Bowl this year, it will be a true collective team effort because of all the infrastructure, especially on the defense too. There's just as many superstars on defense.
So I'm going to give you the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 the top 8 teams to win the Super Bowl. And
Ranked by who?
by odds, by Bovada odds. The number one
Okay.
is Chiefs. The number 2 is the Eagles. You have the Bengals. Then you have the 49ers. You have the Buffalo Bills. You have the New York Jets. You have the Dallas Cowboys. And you have the Baltimore Ravens. Now, what's the similarity between all those teams minus the 49ers?
Every franchise face. Yes. Lamar Jackson, Aaron Rodgers, Dak Prescott. Yeah.
That's the thing. So, like, and the 49ers have like the 4th best odds, and they're up there with the Cincinnati Bengals. Like,
because the team is so good around him. All he's got to do is not play worse.
yes, I get it, but like, you tell me if he goes against Patrick Mahomes, if he goes up against Joe Burrow, if he goes against Josh Allen,
we beat Joe Burrow.
if he goes against Aaron Rodgers in the Super Bowl, like, he's not going to need to play his lights out to play these guys. Like, if he gets there with Lamar Jackson, like, he's going to need to play better. He's going to need to play better, and he's going to need to play on a level that is just out of this world. Well, not out of this world, but he's going to need to play on similar type of levels and make that jump if they're really going to win the whole thing. Because, the AFC teams that have the best odds to win the Super Bowl are the Chiefs, the Bengals, the Bills, the Jets, and the Ravens, all who have good quarterbacks.
And they've all proven themselves. I don't like when people say that Purdy hasn't proven himself, like the tone that some of the people have said, Purdy hasn't proven himself. Like, no, of course there's still more that he needs to do. That he played 9 games. He didn't play a whole season. So no, of course, like, we need to see what he can do with a whole season, even though this one will be asterisked at least at the start with his elbow. And I'm not saying that I don't welcome him getting better. If he throws 3 touchdowns and has 270 yards a game, I'm going to be through the roof. Like,
yeah.
For this exercise though, it's interesting. It's interesting that you have it up there. Not that it's not bad reasoning. I do respect your reasoning because it is important to have a good quarterback. I just think I was so impressed with how he looked already. That's why I put it down near the bottom. Not to say that your reasoning is wrong or incorrect, because no, of course everybody should have something to improve on because no one's perfect. And no, Purdy wasn't perfect. He threw a couple of really bad ducks in that Dallas game, like you said.
Yeah, and so they were winning because of the defense. They weren't really winning because of Purdy. And they need to win because of Purdy if they're going to win the Super Bowl. Like, that's where he needs to go. He needs to, if the defense, somehow gives up 30 points again to the Eagles, he's going to need to put up 31. And that's the thing. Like, he needs to be able to play better in order for this team to win the Super Bowl, like, better than he did last year.
We can't put all this pressure on rookie kicker Jake Mooney, is what you're saying.
yeah. Mooney. Yeah, you're right. That's what we shouldn't be doing that. Yeah.
I didn't mention it in the last episode, but did that make your heart a little happy when Robbie Gould said at the ACC tournament that we didn't even offer him a new contract? We just thanks for your time.
Yeah. It is what it is. Like, I'm glad.
It is what it is. You are happier than that, sir.
I'm glad that I don't have to worry about rooting for him this season. Like, it would have really torn my heart to have to root for him this season. But I'm going to be true to my friendship and stuff like that. And, I'm not, Dallas is still the most hated team in Philadelphia, I think, but I'm going to try to stay true to my friendship and true to you, Dan, and just hope that the 49ers win every game except against the Eagles.
That's fair. That's fair. And I understand why Robbie didn't get a contract offer. We were going to have to pay him he was going to take a sizable pay cut compared to what a 3rd round kicker is probably only making $600,000 this year. I didn't check Sports Track, but Yeah, let's say 600K versus even if he takes a pay cut, we're still probably going to be paying him like $3 million. Like, duh, we're against the salary cap. Of course, we're not going to pay that.
Yeah.
For a 40-year-old kicker. No, like let's be. Not that I'm not thankful for what Robbie did, but I got a picture of Robbie on my wall for Christ's sake. Of course, I love him. Like,
I have the same picture, and now I don't know what I'm going to do with it.
I forgot you bought that too.
I bought that too. I wonder if I don't know. I wonder if I could get him to autograph it and I could send it to you.
Does it sour that memory now that he kicked it not straight to us, but like we were behind the upright that he kicked it at?
Yeah, like, I mean, at the time I was happy. I was happy for you. It was a great game, and I'll always remember that game, and I'll always remember seeing a last-second field goal because I had never seen a last-second
a true walk-off field goal.
Walk-off field goal I hadn't seen. I saw a walk-off touchdown one time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, a walk-off touchdown, but of course the Eagles lost that game, so I don't like talking about it. They gave up a 17-point lead, but yeah, I saw a walk-off touchdown. But I mean, it was cool to go to a playoff game at Lambeau, watch Aaron Rodgers' last playoff game as a Green Bay Packer. Yeah,
we'll have to save it for another episode, but because you have Max and you have Netflix, at some point we're going to talk about quarterback, and we're going to at least talk about one episode of Hard Knocks, because there's no way we're going to manage to go to all training camp without bringing up Hard Knocks at least once.
Yeah, I mean, for right now the Phillies are playing, and that's the most sports watching that my wife will do.
Oh,
like
that's fair.
Yeah, so
seriously though, like, little bonus recommendation, listeners, like, yes, finish listening to this episode, but go watch Quarterback on Netflix. It's awesome. It's so good.
Yeah, I've heard good things about it. So
it's filled the void that has been missing since Amazon canceled at least the NFL version of All or Nothing. I don't know if they're still doing like rugby and soccer teams, but at least for the NFL, they canceled that, and that made me very sad. But Quarterback, great job, Peyton Manning. He produced all of them.
Yeah.
But anyway, did you have any other notes that you wanted to throw out there? I've listed my 3 most important things I think that need to happen.
I mean, personally, I think the defense, with the way the defense is, my personal point, what needs to happen this year is Purdy's got to take a step. He's got to take a step up, and he's got to get above the Kirk Cousins line.
Formerly the Andy Dalton line.
Yeah, formerly the Andy Dalton line. He needs to get above the Kirk Cousins line. If this team really is going to win a championship, because the defense, I admit, is a great defense, but there's holes in the defense, and there's holes in the wrong places. It's the passing offense, or it's passing defense.
Yeah,
and
we can't be 20th in passing defense again.
Yeah, so if you really want to win because of your defense, you can't be 20th in passing defense, especially not in this league. You're going to get killed. You're not going to get killed, but you're going to lose eventually to a good quarterback that's going to tear you up. So,
we almost lost to Jarrett Stidham. I'm very aware of the risk.
Yes. So I think, Purdy needs to play better if they're really going to have a realistic chance to win the Super Bowl.
And I will apologize if it sounded like I took offense and you said he was a bad quarterback. I know you're not saying he's a bad quarterback. You're just saying he needs to be even better. So
he needs to be even
just to
better.
Put that out there. I came off a little aggressive.
Yes, no, he just needs to be better. Did he have a decent season? Did he do his job last year? He did, but there's some improvement that
don't
needs
undersell
to take place.
Mr. Irrelevant getting 8 straight wins.
I mean, you got 8 straight wins.
Yeah,
granted, but he does need to improve this season if really the 49ers are going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, no, that would be my 4th one, and I agree. I was just giving you a little crap, but he did win 8 games in a row, including 2 playoff games. I'm just saying we can't underestimate how truly incredible that is for a Mr. Irrelevant. but
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't think he's taken Ryan Suckup's place as the most relevant Mr. Irrelevant yet, but that's pretty darn
Oh.
good. He's probably number 2.
let's
right
give
now.
him. Let's see what happens after this year. I'm just saying if I'll just say it one last time. If he doesn't play worse, that's all he's got to do to me is not play worse. I think with that though, that's a good stopping point. James, tell everybody where they can reach out to us until we drop another episode.
Guys, you can reach out to us at our email address, which is 49ernuts.com. That's 49ernuts@gmail.com. You can reach out to us on Twitter, which is at ninernuts, or Facebook under the same handle. If you want our apparel, you can Google Niner Nuts apparel, and go to the bonfire.com link, where you will find all our merchandise there, and all our proceeds currently right now are going to human trafficking recovery centers in the DC area until Dan Snyder has officially sold the Washington Commanders. Yeah, I think that's it.
And thank you guys for the patience while we have adapted our show format going into our second year. We're now on YouTube as well, as you can clearly see us. And we're doing shorter episodes, all these little things that we're doing. We appreciate your patience, and we appreciate your patience while this being 2 weeks into July, and this is our first episode. I won't quite go into, you can listen to the other episode.
But you know what, Dan?
Hmm?
We're less than 2 weeks away from training camp.
Hell yes. Thank God. But anyway, I won't say all I did in the last episode. Just go click back one video on YouTube. Yeah, the 4th of July week was, we were already planning on taking it off, but my father passed away. And it was, right before my birthday. My birthday's July 10th. So literally 2 days after we said our last goodbyes to him, and literally a week to the day after, because it was on July 3rd. James, you came up here and helped brighten my otherwise somber birthday, along with my fiance. I need to shout her out too. But it was a very, very tough week. That's we were already not going to tape for the 4th, but then that happened too. And but no, honestly, just I love you and I love my fiance, and I love you guys that are listening to us. And just wanted to get that off my chest, and just it's good to get back on the mic after all this, and all these episodes this week dedicating to Glenn. So thanks for everything, Dad. Yeah,
and I love you too, Dan. I just wish we would have had more meat on that meat lovers pizza.
Yes. Shout out to Big Woods. Big Woods coming in clutch for the birthday dinner. But yeah, I don't have anything to say from Roto World. Just go click on it if you feel like, I guess.
All right, guys, that's it for this episode. Outro music, River Road, Justin Muth.
Catch you on the next one.
River Road, you got me running way back home. River Road, you got me running all night long. You got me singing some canal boat song. River Road, you got me running all night long.